Good afternoon and welcome to Cloud Sports Network's coverage of the San Diego American Flag Football League. We are now bringing you the championship in the women's transgender and non-binary division. This is the second season that SDAFFL has had this division. We just brought you the championship game in the open division, which was won by the EQ Kings of Queens over the Harley Gray Hornets. My name is Joel Trambley. I will be doing the play-by-play with my broadcast partner, Stephen Cramsie. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this game. The last game was fantastic. It was very competitive. It was well run, and I'm expecting the same between these two teams here in the WTNB division.
So at the beginning there, you saw the umpires and doing the toss, and so we have Park and Rec in the Navy jerseys. They had a 5-1 record playing against Rich's Frosted Flakes. They are the number 2 seeds. Park and Rec the number 1 seed. Frosted Flakes in the white jerseys with black shorts. We are going to have Park and Rec kicking off, likely meaning they won the toss. So the Frosted Flakes, the referees are getting set. Neil Kovrig, who was the head referee for the first game, is now going to be the back judge, and the referee in the white hat for this game will be Austin Evans.
Yeah, the Park and Rec TNT and the Navy jerseys, they were in the championship game for WTNB last year. They lost to the Uptown Tavern Nova, but they were the 1 seed again this year, and we'll see what they can do against the Rich's Frosted Flakes.
So WTNB stands for Women's Transgender and Non-Binary, essentially the open division anyone can play in. WTNB, cisgender males cannot play in.
Correct. It's essentially reserved for, women, trans and non-binary players, so they have an opportunity to play, in an environment that they feel comfortable in, and we're happy to have them. And we're about to kick off.
And there's the kick, and it's a pretty good one. It bounces and is going, and it goes out of bounds. You see the flag thrown there. That makes it an illegal kickoff, and the options are usually to take the ball at about the 30 or to make them re-kick.
It looks like Sanj Tucker, their number 5, their quarterback, was the closest to the ball, but she couldn't get to it before it went out of bounds.
And as is typical, given the chance to have it at the 30, that is what the Frosted Flakes choose. So they will start with a 1st and 10 at the 30. You can see out there's a down marker that is going to be at the line of scrimmage. The first blue beanbag will be at the line of scrimmage. The second one marks what is called the rush box. Any rusher has to start 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And then your yellow beanbag is going to be the line to gain where a 1st down would be obtained.
Great catch by Hannah Bowden, number 23. One thing you'll notice the difference between these two teams is Frosted Flakes is a tall team. They almost looks like a volleyball team out there, but they can go up and get that ball if it's gone up for them, and that makes it hard for the defense to get.
And so number 5 is the quarterback of the Frosted Flakes. That's Sanj Tucker. She is a 2025 Quarterback of the Year nominee. And another pass, and that one caught by number 28, Frankie Manuel, a Blocker of the Year nominee.
Yeah, and like we stated before, a lot of these players are first-time players in this league, but most of them play in other leagues throughout San Diego County. In some cases, some play in a women's tackle team, so there's a lot of experience here, even though they may not have spent as much time here with the SDFFL.
And so there were 6 teams in the WTNB division this season, and they played most weeks. Many of the players also playing in the open division. And that is 23 Hannah Bowden snapping the ball, and that's an incomplete pass to the intended receiver, Laura Castle. She is the captain of these Rich's Frosted Flakes, and it is for her first year captaining a team.
Yeah, that was a great pass by Tucker, too, especially going into the wind. Castle almost had a chance to get to it, but the defender was kind of right there in the way.
And while they huddle and get ready for the next play, we will tell you that this is 7-on-7. It is flag football. There is contact allowed in the first 5 yards or so, but it is You are not to tackle anybody. You are to go for the flags. You get one running play per possession or drive. So you're going to see mostly passing here, like that one right there. She hits Castle this time. Looks like the ball is going to be on about the 20-yard line, so that was good enough for a first down, and we will have a 1st and 10 from about the 20.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of these players come from other leagues that have different rules. So, even though they have the experience in the sport of football, when they come to our league, they have to get used to new sets of rules. And sometimes there's a learning curve early on in the season. By now, obviously, a lot of them have it down and they've made it to the championship game. So,
So a pass there complete to 28. There is a flag. We have our first flag on the field. So we will see what that is. They will huddle, and then the referee, Evans, will look at us and tell us what it is. So that is an illegal rush. So usually illegal rush means that someone started not behind the rush box. Whoever crossed the line of scrimmage first was not behind the rush box. That's a 5-yard penalty, but you repeat the down.
Yeah, and you have to have your entire body behind that beanbag when you're a rusher, not just your feet. So if you're leaning over it and you rush before the referee, tells you to move back, that's a penalty on Talis Herrera, number 96.
Nice defensive play there. When I've got it, looks like they are okay. And so we're going to have a 2nd down. Just in case you're wondering about time, the clock started with the kick. You have 30-minute halves. The clock just pretty much runs consistently until the 2-minute warning, unless there is an injury timeout or the officials need a timeout for something. And then the 2-minute warning, the rules go to something like what you might have seen on professional or college football, with the clock stopping on first downs and out of bounds or incomplete passes.
And these are 30-minute halves.
So a little shovel pass there. Again to Frank Emanuel.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Castle and Frank Emanuel on pretty much every play, going with a tall receiver and then the guard. It's worked so far.
It looks like they are just short of the first down. Kovrig dropping that beanbag on the 25 because we don't need it anymore because they need to make it to the goal line now. Another little shovel pass right there to Castle, and that one's good for the touchdown.
That was a fun little lob by Sands Tucker, but got it to Castle and got the score.
And so after the touchdown, which is worth 6, the teams can elect to go for 1 or 2. A 1-point try is from the 5, a 2-point try is from the 10. It looks like the field is set for a 1-point try here. And it looks like that was no good on the incomplete pass, so it is going to stay 6-0 in favor of the Riches Frosted Flakes, with Park Rec TNT coming up to get their first offensive series.
Yeah, Tucker rolled to the outside, trying to find a receiver, and pointed to one, almost had it, but looks like it may have been out of bounds too.
right, TNT quarterback sees nothing to throw for, only has one rush again, or one run per series, so elects to throw the ball into the ground. There's no penalty there, it's just an incomplete pass. There's no intentional grounding, there's no fumbles. If the ball hits the ground, the play is just dead.
Yeah, quarterback Dama Rodriguez, that's a smart play. Sometimes you just throw it away. If you don't see something, it's best not to force it. High snap there.
Okay, so the ball thrown there and caught by Bree. Her 11th season in the football league and a nominee for receiver of the year. The call there is an illegal rush. Usually going to be a 5-yard penalty and repeat the down unless they think they did better than that.
Yeah, number 9, Bree Burrell, a former board member, critical player on this team. She actually stepped into quarterback for Dama Rodriguez one game and did a great job. So very important player on this team. We'll be interested to see how they utilize her today.
Yes, I actually refereed that game, and it was interesting. She did a very good job keeping their team in the game.
And she also plays in the open division as well, so she's one of the ones that plays in both.
Little dump off pass there to number 13. That's Cindy Peralta. And we'll see here. They're going to call that a first down. Looks like they just got past the first down, so it's going to reset the field from there. We'll have a 1st and 10 from something about the 26-yard line. I will say here, we do have the names. We do not have pronunciations, all the names, and we don't have pronouns, so we will try to be as correct as we can be. You see a complete pass to
Brittany Torian, team captain.
And you saw something on that play that you're going to see a lot. The referees try to spot the ball wherever it is where the flags are pulled, not where the flags are. So you're going to see people reaching out the ball to try to get that extra few feet, and that's exactly what Brittany did there.
Yeah, running with the ball with your arm extended is not ideal, but again, if you're getting the spot where the ball is and the flag is pulled, that extra yard can make a huge difference.
Faked a handoff there, and then a quick pass out to 44. That's Z Vela. And again, we're going to be close to a first down. We'll see where Evans spots the ball officially. He says first down. They're going to switch the beanbags, and we will again have a 1st and 10 from right about the 35-ish yard line.
Yeah, it was close, but again, it looked like she extended a little bit, and it was just enough to get the call for the first down.
And what you see there is officials, you usually don't want to be the person to make the call of where the spot is and the first down, because you don't want to be thinking that you're spotting one or the other. So it's fine to spot the ball and then let the referee call whether it's a first down or not. And another nice pass there downfield, pickup of about 10 or a little more to number 18 and that is Peyton Bricardo Rehak.
Yeah, Peyton's a Rookie of the Year nominee this year. She's done a great job in her first season with this league. And see how much they utilize her today.
And we do have another first down. TNT and the quarterback putting together a fairly methodical drive here.
We have drafts in this league, and the majority of this TNT team, the core, is returns from last year. So they've been here before. But for those of them that haven't, this is a great experience, and see what they can do. Another high snap.
Just before the sack, able to find Bree, and a good pickup, another 10 yards or so. Looks like a little bit more. I think we're going to spot it right there on the 20-yard line, so a pick of about 12, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. And you mentioned the draft. So unlike some leagues where teams form together, stay together, play together for years, there is a draft. It shuffles things up quite a bit, but sometimes there are players who stay together. You don't get to protect people, but as the rounds go, sometimes you play with people who you know and you know how to use their talents, and that works better, so you are able to get them even though other teams pass them by. Quick little push pass there. Another good pickup.
Yeah, captains get one save. They get one player that they're allowed to have no matter what, and that's usually their if they're a non-quarterbacking captain, oftentimes that's their quarterback, and then pretty much everybody else is they have to draft. And you might be able to get your core people, but beyond that, it's going to be a mix. Like I said, you'll never have the exact same squad every single year with our regular season. I know most other leagues and other sports, you essentially have the same team every year.
So we've got a 2nd and about 3 or 4 here. That is, first time I've able to see, that is number 56. That is Brittany, who is playing center here. And that play looks like it was probably good for a 1st down. Yep, and they're picking that up and moving the chains here.
Another good run by Peyton. Another thing to point out too is in a lot of leagues they don't have as strict rules when it comes to flag guarding. You are allowed to dip down. You're allowed to do a little hop. In our league, you can't do either. You have to keep the flag at the level of your belt line, essentially, so that way you're not, or even you can't swipe the hands away either. So a lot of these players that are new to this league, they still have to make adjustments to that, and sometimes they inadvertently flag guard because in the other leagues they're allowed to do it.
All right, a little bit of a trick play here, switching everybody up on both sides.
I've not seen that before. It's 4 people in motion, different directions.
And quarterback Dama Rodriguez, what it did was open up space for Dama, and she was able to run it in, looks like for a touchdown.
It looks like, honestly, it was designed as a means to kind of confuse the defense. The defense is so focused on all those receivers moving, they assume that that's where they're going to go to, and Dama just runs it into the corner of the end zone. That's a brilliant play. I've never seen that before, but it worked.
And so touchdown is confirmed. They're going to try for 1. Right now the game is tied at 6 apiece. I mentioned Brittany snapping the ball. This is Brittany's 2nd consecutive WTNB championship game appearance as a captain.
Yeah, she brings a lot of experience in multiple different leagues, so not surprised to see her here again.
Tough, good pass, just tough to turn and get into there in the corner, so that extra point is going to be no good, and we are going to remain tied at 6, and the Frosted Flakes will start from their own 15 for their 2nd possession.
Yeah, sometimes the hardest balls to catch are the ones where you're wide open and there's no one around you, and all you have is your thoughts and your eyesight, and we've all been there, so that was a tough one.
Looks like we're going to have a substitution here for the Frosted Flakes. That is number 22, Isa Navarro, coming in. Close. Looks like that was a catch.
Yeah, that was a daisy cutter by Morgan Taylor to catch that before it hit the ground, and she's a receiver and a Rookie of the Year nominee this year. So she's obviously one of the stars of this team and of the WTNB division, and I'm anxious to see what she does today.
And the referee, Brian, a longtime player here, called it a catch, as did Ken from the other side of the field. So able to pick that one right up off the dirt. I'm going to have a 2nd down and about 3. Quick pass out to 15. We'll see. It looked like she caught the ball and then dropped it. Or
Yeah.
they may have called it incomplete. That's what I'm checking for.
It depends on how many steps she made. You know, the old football move.
Catch and fumble, and again, no fumbles, no opportunity for the other team to get the ball. It is just dead there where she dropped it.
Yeah, if a fumble's in the air and someone catches it, you can intercept it. But once it's on the ground, the only time you can pick a ball up off the ground is on a kickoff.
So 3rd and short here, maybe 1.5. Quick pitch, and that one wasn't caught. That was attempt to Morgan Taylor, another rookie, and a receiver and rookie of the year nominee from the Frosted Flakes. So it's going to be 4th down. That little California Raisins dance there that Evans was doing is telling you that this is an undeclared play. You can actually punt in this league. Most teams choose not to, especially when they have so little yards to go. And we'll see the quarterback still does have a run. So that's another possibility for them. And instead, it's a quick pass to, I think that's number 23, Hannah Bowden. And that is good for the 1st down.
Not terribly surprised she threw the ball there. Even though they didn't have far to go, I would imagine she wouldn't want to use her run that early, considering they're not even at the midfield yet.
I can't tell. It looks like there might be a flag on the play or there are flags on the field.
May have been on Howden for... Oh.
So sometimes when you go for the flags, you end up grabbing shirts and impeding the runner. Sometimes you just going for flags, or because you're really trying to hold them, you wrap your arms around them and they can't go anywhere. That one I think was more in the wrap your arms around, or
it was a bit of a bear hug situation, trying to get the flag, but also, you know, slowing her down, which you're not allowed to do.
And those penalties that add on to the end of the runner catch are really rough. Pass to Issa Navarro. I couldn't quite reel that one in. It's going to be 2nd down from about the 39-yard line.
Yeah, that was one of the rare passes that Sanders Tucker overthrew. I don't think Issa would have been able to get up to get that, so rare incompletion.
All right, throw to the side. Nice catch, contested, but brought down by Laurel Castle, the captain, and a quick flag pull, but a good pickup. We're going to be having a 1st down and 10 from, it looks like, about the 21 or 22-yard line.
And like I said before, this is going to be a difficult situation for the TNT defense. These receivers on the Frosted Flakes are tall, and so if they get up in the ball, there's nothing much you can do but pull the flag as soon as they bring it down.
And we can see now number 54, Jessica Rochester, now in. We'll see where they line up.
I have a feeling Jessica Rochester will be replacing Frankie Manuel in that same role.
And that pass complete. Can't quite see the number, but I think that's Morgan Taylor.
Yeah, it was Morgan Taylor. Great move there to evade the flag after the catch and get a few more yards afterwards.
And so we're going to have a 2nd and again about 3. A couple plays ago, you may have seen that Issa Navarro was a little bit ahead of the line of scrimmage, ran back, and asked the official if they were onside. You can ask the official. The officials tried to help. It's actually pretty much your fault if you get that kind of offsides, because the officials will always tell you where you are.
Yeah, if you're a receiver, you should line up. Just look to the side, give a thumbs up, and they'll always make sure you're there. But if you don't pay attention, sometimes they'll call it.
And across the middle to number 10, Castle with the catch again. And we are inside the 10, and I think a first down. Yep. So it looks like it's going to be first and about 9.
Also, I'd like to point out that this is Austin Evans' first championship game as a white hat. He came into the league last year. He's been doing a great job, and Neil rewarded him with this opportunity, and he's very happy to have it.
Tried to get it to Rochester there, not quite able to.
And I think it was a situation where Jessica just wasn't expecting the ball, and that happens.
So we're going to have a second down. And as the Frosted Flakes huddle, we'll take a quick minute to thank one of our sponsors, which is USGSN. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the United States Gay Sports Network. USGSN invites everyone to come out and play. They are America's only LGBTQ plus sports directory. And that was Tucker using the run and getting the score. So with that touchdown, the score is now Frosted Flakes 12 and TNT 6.
And that's why it's important to try to save your run as much as possible, because you're more likely to use it towards the end there, and that's exactly what you did. Good defenses will oftentimes try to force a quarterback to use the run early in the drive. That way they can't do what Josh Tucker just did.
So if you want to find a tournament by and for the LGBTQ plus community and its allies, then look at usgsn.com. They have over 1,000 LGBTQ plus leagues in over 100 cities. You can find at USGSN, and they're a sponsor of Gay Bowl 25. Here we go for the extra point. Throw by Tucker and caught, and it looks like that Castle was in. So that's going to be our first good extra point.
That was great footwork by Castle to get the toes in just inside the line.
And so with that extra point now, the score is 13-6. And again, we will turn it around, and Park and Rec will start on their 15 with the first and 10. And we will see if we get a time check soon. Sometimes we will get one, sometimes we will not hear for sure until the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, it feels like the last game. A lot of these passes are inbound, so the clock's going to run relatively quickly. And the game really doesn't slow down until the 2-minute warning.
Laser there from the quarterback to number 18. That's Peyton, a Rookie of the Year nominee. Little short of the first down, maybe about 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, all these quarterbacks usually have their go-tos that they're the most comfortable with. Not necessarily always their best athletes, but just the ones that have the best hands that can get that ball in. Because in the end, it's about catching the ball. If you get yards afterwards, great, but you don't really have much use if you can't catch the ball.
The Frosted Flakes with a few different players in on defense. So we have, it looks like, number 21, Taylor Mose in here near us. And number 7, Lisi Garcia near the rush box, but not rushing in. It looks like they're not rushing anybody here from the Frosted Flakes. A deep pass to Bree Burl. Little too deep.
Yeah. Part of the factor might be, too, that Dama Rodriguez is throwing with the wind, so the ball might be carrying farther than she expected it to, and normally in a still condition, she would have gotten that to Bree Burl, no problem.
And so we are going to have a third and what looks to be 3 or 4 yards here. And there's our 2-minute warning. Again, this is when the clock will stop for things like incomplete passes and out of bounds, and will stop briefly for first downs. And each team starts with 4 timeouts. They can use 3 in any given half, so they sort of have 1 to burn in a half, and then it could affect them in the second half. That's an incomplete pass intended for Susan Leary, and that's going to stop the clock.
Yeah, Susan Leary actually just won a championship in her previous the Open Championship game with the EQ King of Queens, and now she's in her second game of the day.
And that is going to bring us to 4th down. Dangerous spot here. They really need to get this one. They do not want to turn the ball over on downs this close to the end zone, because plenty of time within those 2 minutes for the Frosted Flakes to score again. Rodriguez, the quarterback, does have a run, but haven't seen Dama run much here.
Hasn't had the need to, but we'll see if that changes with 4th down.
And that pass intended for 17, intercepted by Morgan Taylor, and that is going to be, it looks like a pick 6. Yes, we see Kovrig with the touchdown sign, and just like that, we have a turnover, a score, and a new score of 19-6.
Yeah, Morgan Taylor showing why she's a 2025 receiver and Rookie of the Year nominee. Fantastic player, and she's making all the plays the Frosted Flakes need. Now they're in a position where they can just maintain possession and keep scoring, and they're in the driver's seat. So it'll be just interesting to see what TNT does after this.
So the clock is going to stop for this extra point. So there will be probably still most of those 2 minutes left. The clock would have stopped when the score was made. And taking a little bit of time to chat here about the play. Kovrig asking for Castle to tuck the shirt in there.
Yeah, the rules say the jerseys cannot be over the top of the flags. You either have to tuck them in or put the flags completely over the top of the jersey so that the jersey does not impede the pull of the flag.
Amazing to get that, haul that ball in. It's going to be called out of bounds, so that extra point is called as no good.
It's interesting because it looked like she made the catch with her half of her body in. I don't know, you're a referee, I don't know how you would have called that, but it was close.
It doesn't matter how much your body is in, it matters if any part of your body was out. And my guess is what the referee, and that's Ken there, is saying is when she actually had control of the ball, her hip was already on the white line, and that's going to be out of bounds. I don't, I didn't have a good angle on it. I actually probably would have called the same, but it's always a tight call. And Cloud Sports cannot give you the replay. So with the mixed extra point, the score stays 19-6. So a short pass, trying to see here if she made it out of bounds, going to be a big difference here. If the player gets out of bounds, the clock is dead until the ball is snapped. And she must have gotten out of bounds because I have not seen a signal for sure if the clock is running or not. If it's a first down and they get out of bounds, then it stops. And it looks like we have another interception.
Also by Morgan Taylor.
Referees are waving that the clock will stop because the clock stops on the change of possession. So that's 2 interceptions by Morgan Taylor. Had to dive to get this one and was down on the catch. Couldn't pick it up for the pick 6, but still impressive.
Now this is definitely going to affect how Dama Rodriguez plays for the rest of the game, because that's an entire side of the field that she might intentionally or unintentionally not want to throw towards anymore. Morgan's clearly shown the ability that she can pick those passes off. So this is going to change the dynamics of the game quite a bit.
Agree. The other option would be, Morgan's really going for it. You might be able to catch something on a pump and fake or a bump and run, but you need the right receiver for that. And complete pass to number 13, Tiffany Wynn. Taking it down. Looks like maybe about the 11, 12.
I think the Frosted Flakes are in a position now where they're going to start throwing the ball around to different players. They have a comfortable lead. This will also, as a result, will throw the defense off because now they won't know who the ball is going to come to. this really is the Frosted Flakes in the driver's seat at this point.
Typically in the flag football leagues, if you get 1 or 2 stops more than the other team, you are very likely to win, and that pick 6 and another interception is 2 right there. If they score here, they would be up by 3 scores. And that was to 21. It was caught, bumped around. The flags never came off, but lost the ball.
Taylor Mose, but what did they call it a catch? She hopped. I don't know if that counts as a football move.
Yeah, it looks like they called it a catch because they're moving those blue bags. So it was not yet a first down. And it's hard to see the lines from where I don't think the first down is very far from the goal line, actually. I think that the rush puck is actually in the end zone. Incomplete pass. That's going to bring up 3rd down and short.
Yeah, it's tough when you're a defense in the end zone because there's not much you can do other than lanes. All your people are going to be covered, so you have to watch for the quarterback to run it in, and this is going to be tough for TNT to stop based on how the Frosted Flakes have done to this point.
And the other option is, again, the run. If you only have 2 or 3 yards to go, that's a pretty good time to use your run.
Well, since Tucker used that run last time, and she still has one, it looks like, so I wouldn't be surprised if she does it again.
And set a throw on the run, a little off balance, but a nice ball right there. Again to Laura Castle, the captain. So the clock is stopped for the 1-point try. Right now we are at 25-6.
Yeah, Tucker even threw across her body a little bit there to the back of the end zone. So that was a really great connection there with Castle.
Another throw, and that was to 23. That's Hannah Bowden with the extra point. And now we are going to have a score of 26-6. And that is the half. So the clock must have had very little on it or have expired actually on the touchdown before that extra point. So while we change this over, we will see if we can do score checks, but we have it as 26-6 in favor of the Riches Frosted Flakes here in the WTNB Division Championship of the San Diego American Flag Football League. So one of our other sponsors that we want to talk about is Gay Bowl 25. San Diego is proud to host the 25th Annual National Gay Flag Football League Championships this October. With what's expected to be the largest Gay Bowl in history, San Diego was chosen to host for the 3rd time. We have hosted in 2005, 2015, and 2025. Games will take place at Surf Sports Park in Del Mar on Friday, October 3rd through Sunday the 5th. For all the details, be sure to visit the official Gay Bowl website at ngffl.org/Gay Bowl or visit SDAFFL website and click on Gay Bowl. So, Steve, you have been in this league since its inception. You have played every season. You are in the Hall of Fame of both the league and of the national football. So tell us about your Gay Bowl experience and what's going to be coming to San Diego.
Well, the Gay Bowl is a great tournament. It brings together teams from, at this point 28 different cities. We're going to have 126 teams to this tournament, which is the most Gay Bowl has ever had, and that means 2,500 to 3,000 attendees. So it's going to be we're going to have up to 20 plus fields operating on Friday and Saturday. It's a lot of football, and I have the pleasure of still being able to play in it. Oftentimes I'll see people from other cities, and that October is the only time I ever get to see them, that one time a year. But it's a great time, and there's plenty of things to do for spectators and players alike. So we're really looking forward to hosting our third Gable tournament. As LGBT flag football goes, this is the biggest tournament that we do. It would be the equivalent of softball's World Series. So it's a big ordeal, and so we're really happy to host it, and we're looking forward to it.
So you mentioned the softball World Series. The softball World Series, I play softball, is your team has to place in your league, and then your team goes, the team that would have won a championship. It's a little different for the Gable, correct?
It is. So in the regular season, we have our regular season teams. Once that season's over, which ends today for both the women's, WTNB and Open divisions, that's it. Team captains are selected to represent San Diego for Gable teams. And then those teams get picked based on players that have shown interest. But unlike the regular season where every player gets drafted, that's not necessarily the case. In the Gable tournament, it is competitive. So, the team captains will pick who they want. Usually the A division gets to choose first, then the B division, and on down the line until all the rosters are filled. And then those teams go to the tournament. Yeah, that's how a way we differ. We don't have individual teams that carry on through the tournaments of regular season. It's new teams every instance.
And is there a WTNB division at the Gable?
There is. There is a WT division. They have an A and a B division in that bracket. And then the Open, there's A, B, C, and then there's also a D, like a developmental division as well. And we intend on taking, and by we I mean the SDAFFL plans on taking at least 5 teams. I say taking, having 5 teams in there for Open division and 2 for WTNB. As we are hosting, there's no hotel charge. You don't have to worry about hotels or airfare. So more people are going to show interest because it doesn't cost anything other than to show up. So we expect to have a lot of interest. We'll be sending out our player interest survey probably tomorrow morning. And once that closes, our Gable team captains will have that pool of players to choose from if they wish.
And again, that's going to be October 3rd through 5th at 2025 with the games up at Del Mar. Over 100 teams, over 3,000 attendees from United States and Canada. So the Gable needs people to volunteer. They do need volunteers in all facets of things, including social events, field operations, other tasks that come up. So if anybody out there who is watching would like to volunteer and be interested in finding out more about it, maybe even being an official at the Gable, visit ngffl.org/Gable and click the volunteer tab towards the bottom of the page. That's ngffl.org/Gable.
Yeah, anyone who's interested in participating in any kind, if you're a vendor and you're interested in having your tent at the fields, if you are a sponsor, if you want to volunteer, if you have anything you could possibly offer to the tournament, just contact us. Contact a local board member. You can go to the Gable website and contact us through that means. It takes a lot to run a tournament of this size. I mean, it's a 6-figure budget to put on this tournament, and there's a lot of moving parts that need to occur for it to be successful. So we're always willing to take help in any way that comes. So you have the resources through the Gable website, through the league website to contact us.
So the San Diego League successful in getting a third Gable here in San Diego, but San Diego has also had good success at the Gable, correct?
Yes, our teams historically have done pretty well. We have 7 championships in the Open A division, all by the San Diego Bolts. Our WTNB teams in the past have almost always made it to the championship game against Denver. The Denver women are the powerhouse of Gable and always have been. But just having that presence is pretty impressive. As I've stated before, since 2010, there's always been at least one San Diego team in a championship game in Gable, and that's something we're really proud of.
That is an impressive record. So we should be probably getting started here in the next few minutes. Looking at the referees, they are still sitting, so we've got another couple minutes. I do want to mention again our other sponsor. In addition to Gable 25, we have USGSN. The broadcast today is brought to you by the United States Gay Sports Network. USGSN invites everyone to come out and play. USGSN is America's only LGBTQ plus sports directory that promotes every league and every tournament in the country. If you want to find a league or tournament buy-in for the LGBT plus community and its allies, then head over to usgsn.com. The network currently features over 1,000 LGBTQ plus leagues in over 100 cities. Follow and subscribe to @USGSN on all your favorite social media platforms. USGSN is a proud sponsor of Gable 25. So we've mentioned softball, we've mentioned football, but USGSN has a lot more than that. I'm guessing there are pickleball leagues, there are basketball leagues, there are volleyball leagues, there are probably bowling leagues and dart leagues. And I'm not even sure that gets you to 1,000, but if you like to play a sport and you like to play with the LGBTQ plus community, USGSN is your best resource.
Yeah, and living in a city like San Diego where we have so many transplants and people that move here, I always tell them the best way to meet friends right off the bat, join a sports league. And being in the weather that we have here, we have LGBT leagues of all kinds that operate year round. So, whether you live in San Diego or not, that's the best way to make friends and get introduced to communities through sports.
And that brings up a point you mentioned earlier. Some of these folks, we have some notes about how many years they have been in SDAFFL, but a rookie in SDAFFL does not necessarily mean they are new to the sport. There are other leagues nationwide, like you said, transplants. There are also other leagues in the city that some of these folks play in. So lots of great experience and talent out here.
Yeah, especially in the WTNB division. When we say, they're a rookie or they're second or third year, that means in this league. But most of them not only played before that, but they also play in multiple leagues. And they're traveling out of town. They're playing in different tournaments. So the experience level, as we've seen already, is there. They're just getting used to our rules and how we operate. And hopefully they're having a great time with it.
So for Morgan Taylor, listed as a rookie in this league, looks like she might have played before.
Unless she was a divine birth, I don't think she's a rookie in any means. She's fantastic. She's literally been the key. Two interceptions, great hands. She's demonstrating why she's the nominee for not only rookie but also receiver of the year for the WTNB division.
So do these playoff and championship games count towards being a receiver of the year, or is that all based on the regular season?
No, it's based on regular season generally. We send out the survey to the captains weeks ago, asking them who they want to nominate for the various positions, as well as Rookie of the Year and also Teammate of the Year. That's an award that gets given to a teammate who's just really good at being a part of the team. And once we close that out, we will announce all those winners at the banquet, which will be held at Fruitcraft in Hillcrest tomorrow, starting at 4 p.m. And that'll give us our chance to recognize all these amazing players.
So on Frosted Flakes, number 7, Lisi Garcia, noted to be a Laces and Lashes contestant. What is Laces and Lashes?
So Laces and Lashes ball is essentially a jocks and drag competition that we've been putting on since 2014. We just had our 10th one. Essentially, players from the league compete in drag, either as drag queens or drag kings, to win the crown. And we usually have our local drag queen Miriam T here in San Diego host it. We get a RuPaul's Drag Race alum to be a special guest and meet out on the red carpet, and we put them out there and we have a competition. And Alicia actually was a competitor in this tournament. She was the only non-cisgender male to participate, and she performed as Prince, and she did a fantastic job. I believe she made it to at least the top 3 or 4. So just wanted to point that out, that we actually have quite a few Laces and Lashes contestants from the past and current running around out there.
All right, so it looks like we're getting ready here to start the second half. The referees are getting out on the field. Kovrig talking to Lauren Castle, and we are going to have them lining up here. I do want to take a minute to recognize the person who is putting all this together and is sitting over to our right with all the tech equipment, Tyler Forster.
Dealing with all the wind. When you mentioned that you were looking at the referees, the only reason why you could see them is because our referee tent blew away. And the fact that ours hasn't yet is a miracle. So that's just some of the things that need to be done to put on a broadcast like this. But we've got cameras on 3 towers all around us, and it's a really good production, and hopefully you guys watching right now are enjoying it.
Yes, sitting in the chair and talking is the easy part of cloud sports.
Well,
by far.
Not when you've had as much water as I've had.
All right, so Frosted Flakes received in the first half, so they are going to kick off in the second half. A little bit of help there to Park Rec TNT. They're kicking off from the 30. TNT ready just in front of the 30. And a line drive kick, which Breburl tries to catch and drops, but that is going to be the ball where it dropped, so probably actually not too bad to have tried to block that, honestly.
Yeah, it's a playful boost from her teammates. She's a veteran. all made that mistake. Once it touches you, if it hits the ground, it's over, and it's frustrating because if she would have caught that, she would have got some yards after the catch.
I'm not sure that Travis Kelce could have caught that one. That was spinning and zipping. All right, so we are going to have a 1st and 10 here from about the 19-yard line. Again, Park Rec TNT 6, Frosted Flakes 26, so they have some work to do here. They're going to need some good offensive plays, and they're going to need some defensive stops if they want to get back in this game.
And all of that, and they're going into the wind.
Looks like about a 10 or 11-yard pickup. I think that's good for the 1st down. Nice quick pass.
Great catch by Peyton Bricardo-Rehawk to extend her hands out to get that pass. Otherwise, it would have been just past her.
Very different throwing styles by these quarterbacks, with Dama Rodriguez throwing sometimes sidearm sort of at her body level, whereas Tucker for the Frosted Flakes usually throwing a little bit higher. And a pass there to Bree, good for about 5.
Yeah, growing up as a Chargers fan, it's like watching Phillip Rivers there. She gets the ball out quick, though. That might be part of the reason for that motion. It's sometimes easier to kind of flick the ball quickly.
Well, and it is interesting. The Frosted Flakes often are not rushing anyone. They're just sort of daring Rodriguez to use her run or to do something short, and her receivers are already out there. We'll see if they come up with something to defeat that. And that a completed pass to number 18, that's Peyton. There's a flag on the play for now. The result of the play was a 1st down with a little bit extra. Did you see when it was thrown, Steve?
I felt like, it came out of the corner of my eye. I was watching the receiver. It looked like it came from the backfield in the middle of the play.
There was some blocking there. You can block downfield, but you can't hold anybody. Could also maybe have been flag guarding. They're defining the spot. Sometimes you do that for flag guarding because you go to the spot and then take back 5.
Legal block to the back, offense number 8, 5-yard penalty, will replay 2nd down.
Okay, so it was an illegal block in the back.
So if number 8 was a blocker, what may have happened is the rusher got by her if they sent a rush, and she just extended in between the shoulder blades. Otherwise, it was a block downfield.
So they're going to lose the yardage from that play and go back 5. So short little shovel pass again to Peyton. We'll see. They moved the marker, it looks like a 1st down, but nope, they're calling it short here. So we are going to have a 3rd and very short. Again, easy to pick up this 1st down with a run if you need to, but as you've mentioned many times, Steve, good to save that run until you absolutely need it.
Yeah, and especially the way Dama used her run on the last drive smartly. I think she wants to save it.
Okay, so there's a flag on the field, and the line judge, Brian, blew that dead. I think there was an offsides, possibly on the offense.
Either that or movement.
He was in the process of telling somebody to move back.
That's what it was.
Okay, so they may not have been offsides anymore, but they were still moving, so it's a false start.
Yeah, all receivers have to set for at least 1 second before the hike, otherwise you'll get a false start.
So now we're at 3rd and 6 or so, 5.5. Another shovel pass.
It's possible Kessel may have gotten the flag before she crossed it, and she is short.
Yeah, looks like short. Looks like they're going to put it right about where the puck is now. So we're going to have a 4th and a foot.
I think we might see her just do the same shovel pass she did earlier. So
Yeah,
right at midfield.
The Frosted Flakes would probably have to put a few more people up near the box right there to stop it. Instead, she runs for it, still going. They haven't gotten her flags off. She's going to get a first down and something more there. Her arms were up in the air, so I don't think there was any flag guarding.
That was really one of the first times we saw anyone play really close up on defense, and now I know why. They likely did it to force Dalma to use that run, and they did. So now she cannot use her run, even if she's up on the end zone.
And that is a catch, according to Brian. So that is a really nice catch there over there on the sidelines. It's going to be a pickup of about 5 to 6.
Yeah, that was an amazing catch, turning in the opposite direction and still having the discipline to get her toes down. Great job by Peyton Ricardo-Rehak.
Takes the handoff there. Now scrambling, throws. Oh, good play there by Tucker. Almost comes up with the interception.
Yeah, she was definitely in the right position.
It's going to be third down now, still about 4.5.
I actually thought that was Morgan Taylor before I saw the number. I just assumed.
Right? Happened twice already. So far, a good drive put together by TNT, but they need 3 scores to get in this. This is taking a long time.
Yeah, they're staying in bounds, and they're down by 3 scores. So scoring here matters, but they still have to do 2 more. So they're gonna have to get a stop after this.
And throw out to 13. Some did not pull her flags. It looks like here is the score.
Faked to Cindy Peralta and then threw it back to her anyway, and she got it all the way down there and scored.
So with that, we're going to be at 26 to 12.
Yeah, they absolutely needed to score quickly, and they did. But now they have to get a stop because they're still down by 2 scores.
Snap. And looking around, got open in the corner, but overthrown. That was meant for Roxanne Pardo, third-year player. So extra point is no good. It is going to be 26 to 12, and they are going to need 2 more scores that come with some extra points as well. But first, they're going to have to get a stop against the Frosted Flakes, and as you said earlier, Steve, Frosted Flakes very tall. They're going to have to come up with something impressive on defense here.
Yeah, when you have such a height difference between the 2 teams, it affects how you play your defense. That's probably part of the reason why they haven't played up as much, because they know that once the ball's in the air, they can swarm and they can just outbody the offense.
So incomplete pass intended for Hannah Bowden.
I think that was Frankie Manuel, number 28.
Oh, my bad, yes. Frankie Manuel was 28, not 23. You mentioned Phillip Rivers earlier. Phillip Rivers also used to like to throw to a basketball team for a few of the good years there.
That's a great point. Newly crowned Hall of Famer Antonio Gates.
And that one complete to Manuel. I think Gates and Vincent Jackson in the day, and there was another one. We're all 6'4" or 6'6" or something like that.
That's right.
All right, so we have third down and about 5. And then a pass to Morgan Taylor is caught, quickly deflagged, going to be right around the first down marker, but there is a flag on the play. And they're talking about it.
What happened in the backfield? So I'm curious.
I don't think she was...
Legal use of hands, so that may have been a blocker.
Yeah, one of the referees, Ken, showing that sort of push there. We had for those who watched the first game, we had a illegal use of hands where it was just too high, close to the neck.
Right.
May have been something like that.
Or
So,
possibly swiped the hands away of the rusher.
so unless they decline it to take the result of the play, that's going to be 5 yards. And oh, I take that back. I think that was illegal use of hands. I'm sorry, on the offense.
Right.
So they went back 5 yards. So now we're going to have a third and about 10 after that. So getting in a good position for a stop for Park and Rec if they can hold them to short yardage here. That one's going to be over Morgan Taylor's head, so it is going to be 4th and 10 here.
This is when, on defense, you tell all your players to bat the ball down so you get the ball at the line of scrimmage. I know the instinct is to intercept it, but in this case, you want field position. You want to score quickly, which they can do if they can get a turnover here on downs.
And Tucker's still with a run, but 10 yards can be a long way to go.
Yeah, because if you don't get it, then it's still their possession.
Castle's been the hot receiver. Let's see if she tries to get something down the field to Castle. Well, going in the middle. And a nice play by Bree Burl to swat that one down.
Yeah, the TNT absolutely needed that. Now they get the ball right near the end zone. If they could score again, then they're only down by 1 score. Now it's the game again.
Yep.
They have to get in there and get the extra point.
And as you say, they're very near. Actually, so it's the line of scrimmage that changes. So they get it not, if you're thinking it was going to be back at that yellow bag, nope, it's at that blue one. So they've got less than 20 yards to go now. Big defensive series for Park and Rec. Exactly what they needed to get back in this game. Probably going to need one more, but the score and the stop were the first 2 steps.
Interesting to see. She's going to have to watch out for Morgan Taylor. She's going to be a ball hawk looking to get that ball back.
So Rodriguez using the run early. We'll see where they spot it.
Looks like it's about the 5 or the 6.
Yeah, so it looks like they got 5 yards to go for the first down. They can still get a first down before the goal line. And actually, Morgan Taylor not in the game right now. Oh, no, there she is. I'm sorry. She was on the other side. So, okay. So Taylor over on the side nearest to us. Castle in there. I think that's E.C. Navarro in there in the center. High snap. And a pass just behind Peyton. It's going to be 3rd down and 5. Again, no more runs for Rodriguez.
Yeah, they have to be really smart because you no longer have a run, but you also, this is a pick-happy Frosted Flakes team, so you also have to be careful.
Well, and we'll see where they line up, but right now it looks like this could be a nice little shovel play because nobody's even within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage from the defense. And there it is. All right, so it looks, I do not see a goal score. I think they did get the first down. It looks like we're going to have a first down and goal and very short yardage to go.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she gained too many yards. Keep in mind, she took the pitch from behind the line of scrimmage, so she had to gain that distance as well.
But I think they saw what we did in the defense and used it well. Smart play. And now you see the defense a little bit closer up there, right on the line. Because that same play would get a touchdown right now. Another high snap. Another shovel. Nope, she didn't. Faked it. Throwing now. Flag out. So the pass to Burl, good, but 2 flags thrown on the play. Might be the same thing, might be different things.
Yeah, another trick play which worked great, but it was always fun to watch. You don't oftentimes see things like that, but it absolutely fooled the Frosted Flakes defense, and we'll see if it holds.
Burl was so open, I'm wondering if the second flag could be an offensive push-off. Okay, it was an illegal rush, and as he says, by rule, because there's no reason for the offense to decline that penalty when they got a take that penalty when they got a touchdown.
Yeah,
so.
the flag came before the ball was even thrown to Bree, so I figured it had something to do with that. But that's a great play by TNT. This is what they needed. Now they also need this extra point, however.
Frosted Flakes backing up off the line of scrimmage again. Good patience by Rodriguez. Gets the throw to the back of the end zone. Extra point is good. 19 for TNT, 26 for Frosted Flakes. So we have ourselves a game.
Yeah. Didn't think that was going to happen being down 3 scores, but TNT, again, are experienced in games like this. And that's how they became the 1 seed. So let's see if Frosted Flakes can answer to keep the padding at 2 right now. All TNT has to do is score again to tie it up.
Yep, and that extra point helps a lot. If they didn't get it, they would have needed a 2-point conversion. Now, depending on what Frosted Flakes get if they score, they just need 1 to sort of get back on track with that. But right now, they need another hold.
It'll be interesting to see how much time is left because these halves have been going by awfully quick. These players are staying in bounds, and the first half went by like nothing. So it'll also be a matter of clock management and see if TNT even has time to tie it up.
Well, they did a great defensive stand, but that was good for them that it was so close to the end zone. That was a much faster score than that first long drive that got them partway there.
Correct.
Now it was incomplete pass. We're going to have a second down. So we have a complete pass to Taylor. Looks like it is short of the first down. We're going to have a third down and a few yards to go. You mentioned earlier when they were up 3 scores that maybe it was time to get some more players involved, try a few different receivers. I think it might be time to go back to Taylor and Castle and see if you can get some yardage and another score.
Absolutely. In the end, it's about winning the game, and obviously Morgan Taylor's proven that she's the workhorse of this team up to this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they use her a lot now.
That one to Manuel, caught, but with a flag on the ground. And so Ken there is marking the spot. The spot would be a first down. Okay, that is a rough penalty. So they're calling pass interference on the offense. Usually that means that one of 2 things. Either they initiated contact as the offensive player or they pushed off to make space.
I would imagine it was the first one. With the case of Frankie Manuel, I don't think she would have to push off, but I think she made contact early.
So that is going to be 10 yards from the previous spot.
Yeah, this is not what Frosted Flakes needed, especially on third down, and this is exactly what the TNT needed, because if they can take over the ball here and score, you've got a tie game.
You don't need to get this all in one, but you need to get a chunk of this. But you need to get at least 7 or 8 yards of this, probably.
And Sanj does have the wind at her back, so she can find a fast receiver.
So what they tried to do there was a shovel pass and then a pitch back, but number 23, Hannah Bowden, caught the ball, but was judged to have her flag pulled and be down before she was able to do a pitch back.
Yeah, and that's what I saw. That's unfortunate because now
so it looks like a 4th and maybe a little more than 10 at this point.
Now,
so
it looks like they're going to do a undeclared punt. I would at this point, especially the wind at your back, just knock that ball down there as far as you possibly can and just try to get a stop in.
So when you declare the punt, you can always punt, but when you declare it, you get protection. You don't get that if you don't declare the punt. So she can take a little time, get the ball ready, get her kickoff, and gets off a good one. If it stops,
it's crucial that
it's picked up cleanly so they can run it back. This is, I think this is Peyton picking up cleanly with the run back. If Peyton hadn't picked that up cleanly, it would have been dead way back there. Got a few more yards out of it, but an impressive punt. It looks like there is a flag on the field, however.
Yeah, if they could get the TNT to their own 20, that would be a great result. But again, it's all pending on what the penalty is for.
Okay, so the referees are going to chat about this. I couldn't tell for sure. It looked like the punter may have taken an extra step past the line. And if that's the call, then they got to decide was it really happened, or maybe somebody moved a little bit before the punt but didn't really change anything.
Yeah, she did get a bit of a running start to the kick. It's important that the officials get together and make it the call right.
Okay, so they're calling TNT. That means the penalty probably was on the kicking team.
So there's a decision that needs to be made, obviously. Or they're just letting them know what the call is. Because they also talked to the...
Okay, do you see it on Sportsman? So I couldn't quite hear that one, but it's a 5-yard penalty, so they're backing them up further, and they're going to have to re-kick it. And that was a good kick.
Yeah, they're going to need, and I'm telling you, when you get a good kick and you have to re-kick again, it's very difficult to repeat that. But again, with the wind at her back, hopefully it'll take a good bounce like the last one did.
Gets off another good one if it stays in. A nice catch there by Peyton. Bringing it back up. Deflagged around the 35. That is a much better result other than a little time off the clock for the TNT.
That penalty basically cost the Frosted Flakes 30 yards on that next possession because they had the TNT pinned on their own 20. Now the TNT have it on their 30.
And we are not yet at the 2-minute warning, and even if we were, good clock management, 2 minutes is plenty of time to score from here. And if they can, it could come down to an extra point.
They're going to need the Morgan Taylor they had in the first half if they want to prevent TNT from scoring here. So it's interesting to see how they'll utilize her.
Quick pitch to number 13. That's Cindy Peralta. Flag comes in at the end.
Looked like all that collision was incidental, but it's interesting to see.
So referee saying to hold the spot. If it was some kind of personal foul, it would go from the end of the run.
May have been impeding the runner.
Block in the back. That is a tough one for TNT. They can't afford many of those right now.
And that's unnecessary. In this circumstance, you don't have to do that just to give them a pass.
Okay, wait a minute. I believe he called it on the offense, but it looked like they moved the bags like it was on the defense. All right, the umpires are going to figure this out. Ken, a very senior referee who made the call. Neil, who just blew the whistle, is the head of the league, and referee Austin Evans, as you said, refed for a while and has white-hatted, so we'll see what we call this. The call, I believe, was an illegal block in the back on the offense, but...
Did y'all get that?
I think they may have been enforcing it as a 5-yard penalty from the end of the play, and they have realized it is a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. So now we're going to have about a replay of the down, so it's going to be about 15 yards to go. And again, as I've said, keeping track of which penalties add on, which ones change, which ones go from where is not easy.
It's a constant learning and reviewing process for everybody. Team captains, officials, everybody.
Unlucky there that the flags came off, made for an easy tag of 13, Cindy Peralta.
And in our league, if your flags come off as a ball carrier before you're touched, all a defender has to do is one hand touch you and you are down. Because sometimes the flags just have a tendency to flee our bodies for no reason.
All right, 8 in motion, comes set. Quick pitch to 18, quick flag by Castle.
That was extremely important. Now they're at 3rd down and they haven't really gained much yardage.
We're still at about 12 or 13 yards. We haven't even made up the penalty yet.
If they don't get it here, that block in the back is going to be huge in the long run.
Pass to Bree, and it looks like she may have the first down on that. A nice, quick little laser throw there.
But she had to earn that one because she had people pulling at her from every direction. Looks like she may have...
Where it looks like Ken's spot is just short of the first down, so we're going to have a 4th and very short, but that helped a ton. Definitely, from what we've seen within Rodriguez's run range, if she chooses to do that. And that signal from Kovrig tells you that she still does have a run. That's just something referees remind themselves of.
It's also something the defense likes to know too, because it changes how they defend the quarterback.
And Park and Rec taking their time, so they are either confident of this score or they're just not thinking about the clock management too much, and Rodriguez does choose to run it and get the first down.
Yeah, that was wise. In the end, getting the first down is way more important than whether you use your run or not. So when you're that close, it's better to just do it.
Evan's looking at his watch with his whistle in his mouth, so I think we're close to the 2-minute warning.
Looks like they're letting the clock run down.
Yeah.
So they do have that confidence they'll be able to score. They still have to get an extra point just to tie it.
Yep. Another quick pitch. And a few more yards from getting the shirt, not the flag there. And again, not a hold, just got the wrong thing. But Looks like a pickup of about 6. We're going to have a 2nd and 4. And so that is officially the 2-minute warning. So we will be at 2 minutes or whatever is left on. That should be 2 minutes because it counted down in between plays. And the clock will start on the snap, and we will start using all of those rules. So out of bounds, incomplete pass, stop the clock. A first down stops the clock, but it starts on the whistle, not the snap. Little high snap again. Looking to throw. Sidearm delivery to Peyton right through traffic.
Yeah, it looks like that gamble worked. It looks like she's just short, but if they can score here and get that extra point and tie it up.
And so right now, because there was a first down, the clock is stopped. As soon as Evans blows his whistle, the clock will start unless somebody takes a timeout. And I think they both have 3 timeouts to take if they want to. So it wouldn't be a bad idea for Frosted Flakes to try to save some time, because a 2-point conversion would actually put TNT ahead. And they do.
This might be a good time to point out that for those of you watching, our post-game social today is at Urban Moe's. It's our last one of the year. Traditionally, our post-championship game social is at Urban Moe's. They have been one of our longest sponsors we've ever had, even back when they were in the Hamburger Mary's days. So please come out and support them if you can. They've been great to us, and we want to return the favor.
Moe's Universe, a great sponsor, as are Riches and Park Rec and Harley Gray and EQ and Flakes. The Moe's Universe with Moe's and
Baja Betty's, Hillcrest Brewing Company, Gossip Grill are all sponsors of us.
Inside Out?
Not this year,
but
we have Park and Rec over in University Heights, which used to be Bourbon Street, one of our very first sponsor of all time, and they stuck with us even though they changed ownership, so we appreciate that. Also, Uptown Tavern and number 1 Fifth Avenue. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors for what they do for us. We would not be able to run this league without their help and support.
And it looks like Park and Rec trying not to score for a play or two here, again to burn time on the clock. We'll see what Frosted Flakes does with their timeouts. And this is another spot where if you can get down to the 1, it is almost impossible to stop a quarterback run when you are inside the 2 or 1.
Which has Dama used her run yet?
I don't think so. And another pitch. And
yeah, this is the chess game that is. Yeah, this is a chess game that is time management, clock management, especially when you get into the 2 minutes. This is when the game slows down. Not as badly as college basketball, but still, when the game moves so quickly down the middle of the field, when you get to that 2 minutes, this is the chess game of trying to figure out how to take that gamble and not allow the other team a chance to score, but knowing you still have to yourself.
And you could try to force them to burn one more timeout, but I've seen a lot of teams try to score on 3rd down because they don't want to risk having to go to 4th down and possibly having a turnover. So they want to give themselves a down for something bad to happen, a bad snap, a dropped ball, incomplete, a push pass that doesn't get caught. Wouldn't surprise me here if they try to punch it in, even though that might leave Park and Rec Riches with one more timeout. And again, we should remind everybody, as you did earlier, they got to get the score. They need at least a 1 point extra point to tie. So even the score does not mean the game is by any means over. And another shovel pass. So they did score on that one. So now we are at 25-26, still in favor of the Frosted Flakes. They are going to go for the 1-point try to tie the game.
It makes sense. I mean, you want to go with the more sure thing, especially when you have a run.
And Rich is backing off the line again, so we could see another one of those shovel passes.
But if they don't get this, this could be the game.
And Rodriguez wants to talk about it. And why not? If you got a timeout, it is unlikely the Park and Rec is going to need the timeouts. If they score and we're going the other way, that's probably not going to make the difference. So you might as well call your best play right here to get 5 yards. There's a number of solid receivers, but I think if you're looking for your best chance, who's been hot today, you're probably looking for Bree, or to use Bree as a big decoy and finds Peralta or somebody like that.
Well,
Peyton also.
Yeah, Peyton's been used for a lot of the short and up the middle, which is what they might be looking for here. With Bree, it's mainly longer passes to the outside. This is a extremely important extra point, obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Peyton like they have all day up the middle. We'll see.
And Rodriguez does have the run, so if they can have a play that would actually clear everybody out and they don't pressure her, that's another option. But
let's see if we see 4 of their players in motion in the trickery again. I doubt it because they've already used it, but you never know.
And both those receivers, Peyton and Bree, lined up on the right side near the sideline. Might be somebody runs deep and somebody runs the out. Or a hook. Looking that way, looking that way. So the extra point is no good, and that leaves the score at 25 for Park Rec TNT and 26 for Rich's Frosted Flakes.
See if we can get a time check from the referee. I don't know. Oh, it's a change of possession. They're up by 1, so I think this might be the game.
It's probably going to be the game. I think at maximum, Park and Rec can stop the clock twice, and that is probably enough time on Frosted Flakes' side to let the clock run out. And sometimes we don't play those last minutes just for safety. We don't want anybody to get injured at the end of the game. Looks like we are going to start this up. The refs are starting to put down the pucks.
Interesting to see how much time they have here. If it was already under a certain amount, I think they would have already called it, so they might have enough time to...
He's a little surprising to throw an incompletion there. That just helps them out. They didn't need a timeout there. If you kneel that one, you get 35 seconds, so, or thereabouts.
You know, it might be closer to 2 minutes than we thought because of all the timeouts that were called.
All right, so we've got a 3rd down and about 5.5, I think. Another completed pass, that one to Manuel, flag on the field. That's going to stop the clock while I figure this out.
It might have been a legal forward pass. That pitch back didn't go back. Or a flag guarding. It would appear one of the receiver may have jumped.
Okay, so it's 4th down. The last time in a similar situation, they punted, and that might not be the worst idea here.
With 41 seconds left, I would like their chances of stopping TNT from as far away from that end zone as possible than going for it here. So I would punt. We'll see what they do.
As I say, there were a lot of timeouts. We're definitely under 2 minutes. But, yep, they are going to punt.
The wind is picking up here, so this could be advantageous to the Frosted Flakes, especially if the ball takes a bounce.
But a lot of pressure. Shank a punt here, and TNT might get one more chance. She does not shank it. It's another good one. Peyton bobbles it, so it's going to be down right where she touched it.
That's exactly the punt they needed. Dead ball on the 32-yard line. TNT.
So we have about 30 seconds left on the clock, Ken tells us.
Correction, 34 seconds.
34 seconds. Which is enough time, but with few timeouts left and going into the wind, going to take something special.
We might need to see a rocket from that sidearm downfield at some point. In exciting fashion, we shall see if they even need it.
Probably going to be Peyton or Bree, but you can see Morgan Taylor back there waiting to pick another one.
For the deep pass, it might be Bree. Cindy Peralta with the catch, but
so they call the timeout with 28 seconds. I agree with you. If she had gotten out of bounds, then you didn't need that timeout, but I think she was deflagged in play, and I think that's what Ken was going to call.
And either way, they're out of timeouts now, so they either have to throw to the sidelines, which is a great opportunity for Bree Burrell.
Or at least, if you're throwing down the middle, you got to get the first down.
Correct.
And now they are rushing, and the clock will stop for the first down. So
TNT are making this a game. They are not giving up.
So as soon as the whistle blows, the clock stops, and that's why the offense is ready to go. Okay. And so what that flag was is that Evans had...
Number one on the offense, went ready to sack. No yard penalty, this is a warning.
Yeah. So Evans had not blown the whistle there. They got excited and jumped, but no harm done. The first time you do that, it's a delay of game. That's the only kind of sort of false start that is.
And in this instance, thank goodness it was a warning.
And if they do it again, so you got to listen for that whistle that just blew. So now the clock's rolling. And now we got to go up the middle for 10 or to the sideline. Nice flag by number 17. That's going to keep the clock rolling.
So they have to hurry up and either spike it. Now it's a false start. Got it.
And they're going to talk about whether that's a 10-second runoff.
If it is, they wouldn't leave much time for more than one play. I think they were in the teens, seconds-wise.
They don't want to let people use penalties to stop the clock, so certain conditions, and again, this is why they wear the white hats, require a 10-second runoff when you're inside 2 minutes.
Delay of game on the offense. Since the clock was running, by rule, there's a 10-second runoff. That will be the ball game today.
Okay, so the clock ends with a 10-second runoff.
That was a interesting way to end the game, but they must have been under 10 seconds. They didn't get set, they didn't have any timeouts, and unfortunately that ended up costing them.
And so at the end here, with a second half charge by the TNT, Frosted Flakes actually not scoring, I believe, in that half. We have a final score of the Frosted Flakes 26 with the Park Rec TNT 25.
You got to hand it to TNT for going from down 3 scores at the half to getting to the point where they they could have won it, but unfortunately they just got a little too excited, didn't get set for that 1 second, and in the end they didn't have the timeouts to stop it.
So Commissioner Grant Porter is coming over here to get the trophy, and your champions again of the Women's Trans and Non-Binary Division of the San Diego American Flag Football League are the Riches Frosted Flakes, the number 2 seed, beating the Park Rec TNT, surviving a second half charge. Thank you for watching the broadcast here on the Cloud Sports Network on Championship Saturday. For Tyler Forrester in the booth and our color commentator and Hall of Famer Steve Cramsie, I'm Joel Trambley. Again, thank you for watching. We are going to sign off. Have a great Saturday.